Oh my God, I am so exhausted by Blake Lively's gaslighting! Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. I'm here with It's Kim. We've been live with
We're
our
both tired.
toxic positivity. We have get your shirts at our store, along with our amazing, my favorite shirt yet, Subpoena This. It's now available in the store in the new store. So check it out. Go to merch, click on new items, and you can support us fighting back against our subpoena. We talked a lot about that. You can go watch the full show on our website, PopcornedPlanetTeam, where the shirts are, everything else. Click sign up. You can always catch the replays over there and exclusive content. But a lot's happening right now, and it's important that we go through this because I see the writing on the wall, Kim, and I'm worried because Blake's team is desperate. Blake's team is absolutely desperate. And shout out to Little Girl Attorney, who said it best. Go watch her video. I don't want to play it again on this, but you should all watch it. But to sum up a lot of what she said, because that Steve Sarowitz audio was so bad for Blake, it was not what they thought it was going to be. They're desperate, and they're now throwing this out. They're now asking for basically jury instructions to basically say, because their Wayfair parties used Signal, which is an app like WhatsApp and so on, because they use this when it has a auto delete function, because of that, and along with the iPhone voice memos, when you send a voice memo after you play it, it disappears. Because of these auto delete features, well, they are then this is called spoilage, or spoilization, right? Spoilation. Sorry, it's called spoilation, which basically means like they're lying. They're knowingly, maliciously deleting evidence. What was the word, Kim? More specifically.
I'm not sure. Like, did they do it intentionally, maliciously? But the difficulty is when you have some of these apps, some of this stuff is just going to happen, right? Some of these apps, this is how they operate. And on top of that, there are multiple documents throughout this litigation that say that the date that they were informed that they needed to preserve communication was December 20th of 2024. And there seems to be this dispute now about when that date actually is. So it's the difficulty now of being able to say to someone, if they just used an app and there was an auto deletion, that apparently they've now done something illegal when they didn't know that they were going to be going into litigation. It's a really scary argument to make. And maybe this is one of these situations where the law hasn't fully caught up to our technology, because that absolutely happens. But the way that it stands right now, it's a very strange, to me, it's a strange argument to be making. And all the legal analysis I've seen is that this is not a good argument. And I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see the way that the judge interprets it. But the other thing with this document is it's also asking for jury instruction. And we are very far away from trial at this point. We haven't had summary judgment. We don't know what, claims are moving forward to trial. So to rule on a jury instruction when we don't know whether or not that claim is going to trial, it seems a bit presumptuous. And I don't feel like it follows proper protocol at this point. That's just my opinion.
No, 100%.
I'm not a lawyer, but to me, it doesn't make sense.
As Little Girl Attorney said, yeah, 100%. And they want to basically say, well, Your Honor, we need to tell the jury that because of this auto deletion, that should infer that they had guilty messages that therefore we no longer have, is what they're trying to basically claim here. And this is basically what's happening in my hearing now as well. And I said more of it in the full show, but please, guys, I know what I'm doing. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the support. Please be patient. I don't need the suggestions. I'm well aware of all your suggestions. You just got to trust the process and know we're not dumb. So please, I know we're on it, and I'm confident, and we're going to get there. But in my hearing, this came up as well. They were like, we want his Signal chat messages. I don't have Signal chat messages, Kim. I never use Signal, and especially not for any of these projects. And so this makes no sense. They're basically saying, well, if they don't have it, they must have deleted it. That's now going to be the excuse. Because they don't have it, because of the auto delete feature, because they used voice memos or this, they must be hiding something, Your Honor. Therefore, they are guilty. And the press is already picking it up. Dominic Patton didn't do an article about the audio not being what Blake promised. Notice how Deadline's been very pro-Blake, especially this author, very pro-Blake and leaning towards that. These are the journalists, Kim, that are not out there for views. This is such horseshit. Blake's, team that sides with her, they're the proper journalists. The ones who only post her stories are the proper journalists. TMZ, who knows I'm subpoenaed before I do, they're proper journalists, but Popcorn Planet, apparently in Blake's eyes, is a content farm only out to retaliate to the highest bidder. Absolutely defamatory. Anyway, let's continue. Just when you thought the retaliation claims against her, blah, 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 couldn't get any more incendiary, lawyers for the actress may have dug up a bona fide digital smoking gun. Defendants have hid the ball at every turn of the discovery process, either failing to produce documents or improperly cloaking them in attorney-client privilege, forcing no less than 12 discovery-related motions to date against defendants and their aligned third parties of the much-redacted sanctions, backed by a very similar filing, the PR from the PR firm and Jones Works, yada, yada, yada. Lively's team is essentially calling out Baldoni and Wayfair Studios, Inner Circle, and the likes of publicist Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Abel, over deliberate use of the Signal app, voice memos, and other software for their smear campaign scheme against the actress. Risking refuting a court order on evidence from months ago, the aim of the Baldoni execs and hired hands to use Signal back in 2024 is said to be either destroying or failing to preserve relevant communication in real time, aka they knew they may be taken to court and they wanted to cover their subcontracted tracks, surmised the hindsight benefited Lively's lawyers of the Wayfair defendants. It should be noted Baldoni and his crew have always denied Lively's claims of what went down on the set of Sony. Yes, as have all the content creators, but Deadline's still pimping for Blake, ironically. Even with some of these affirming texts and emails that have come out looking to counter their argument, the Baldoni team has rejected from the drop the idea that they orchestrated a multi-pronged smear campaign against Lively in 2024. Instead, they claim the harsh online blowback against the Gossip Girl star was organic from regular Joes and Josephines who were spotlighting what an insufferable elitist Lively could allegedly be. She absolutely was an insufferable elitist. Early this year, Blake actually sued Lively, and we know all this, blah, 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 blah. Long speculation, significant chatter, to stay in Lively online, lead up to August premiere, and worries the actress would turn on Baldoni. The Signal info and more came out of the depositions with ex-Nathan staffers Catherine Case and Brianna Butler. Now, this is the only thing I've seen where I'm like, oh, what does that mean? I don't trust it means anything, to be fair, because Blake's team is so misleading in general and et cetera. But if there was depositions where these ex-staffers said, oh yeah, we hid all the secret stuff on Signal and this was that, and actually admitting to that and revealing that, well, then that wouldn't be good for, I would imagine, Melissa and that team. Or did they just say, well, yes, we've used Signal, but it auto deletes, and then now they're trying to paint that nefariously? I don't know, but you'd think in these new filings they would have brought that up, Kim, if they were really like depositions said and proved that they had secret chats. I assume that doesn't exist because why wouldn't that be the headline here? You know what I mean? So Stephanie Jones' lawyer says the hits, so to speak, keep coming after Lively first filed, and she prepared to formally sue. Justin, evidence only recently produced reveals that soon after Lively initiated this action, Abel, along with Friedman and others, were actively directing social media messages intended to promote Baldoni and disparage Lively. This is such. Now, notice how this has nothing to do with the sexual harassment claim. Nothing. So now they're like saying, well, yeah, what about the stuff Blake was putting in the press? So he's just supposed to shut up forever and can never defend himself in the press? That's all it's mind-blowing the way she's gaslighting the entire world and retelling the story, how she's positioning it. It's absolutely nuts. Jennifer Abel conspired with Melissa, Justin, and Wayfair to orchestrate a smear campaign. She did it in secret, outside of Jones Works and behind Stephanie Jones. Oh, piss off, Stephanie Jones. You're one of the, I've heard, allegedly, one of the worst people who does this to everybody. And Hollywood knows it. The hypocrisy here shows no bounds. Conversations were moved to auto-deleting platform and evidence was destroyed. There can only be one reason for that. They had something to hide and wanted to make sure it would never be discovered. So anyway, and looking for financial judicial compensation. The 30-page memo from Team Blake declares, now that the dust is settled and fact-discovering depositions have closed, two things are clear. Despite defendants' clumsy efforts to cover their tracks, there is substantial evidence that the retaliatory campaign was, in fact, implemented and planned. I look forward to seeing that. Defendants flouted this court's orders and destroyed and/or failed to preserve or produce additional material and highly relevant evidence, the absence of which they intend to try to unjustly exploit in their favor. So anyway, this is all pro-Blake, and now they're trying to say that this is spoliated evidence, so she wants adverse interference, and that's where we were talking about getting jury instructions or having it thrown out, etc. She's basically saying this is ridiculous. We win. They're deleting things. The fact that they use Signal or voice memos to begin with proves their guilt, is what they're saying here. Kim, the ramifications of if a judge even accepted that would be insane. Instagram, so many messages and group apps, they all do that. And you can be on certain of the chats and then the other person can delete it. So does that mean I'm liable now because the other person deleted it? Like, this is absurd. Do you think any of this is going to hold up in a court of law?
I mean, with this case, who knows? You know, but I can't help but I cannot ignore that the initial, the letter that they received about preservation demands came out originally on December 20th. There seems to be this dispute now about whether or not the, list back in the day was actually the first one, but legally, I don't think that argument makes a lot of sense. And and I can put it this way, if you want to go look at a court listener, you can. It's there right now. You can go to document 555, page 17 out of 31, and it literally says, the Wayfarer defendants have known that Ms. Lively would expect to receive such materials since December 20th, when Ms. Lively sent her initial preservation demand letters. So if that's the first time they were told to maintain communications, what are they saying? This will happen in August? So August to December. So if there was any auto deleting in that time, that's illegal? That's a long time. That's a long time. And I know people that have delete stuff every month. I know people who never do, right? And I don't know what the defaults are within Signal myself. There's just a lot of questions with this, and I feel like we live in a world right now where our online security and our safety is so important, and people are going to take steps to keep things confidential, to keep things private. I understand a PR company wanting to keep things confidential and private. That's kind of their thing.
Yep.
So I don't think that necessarily means that what someone's doing is illegal, but it's really scary now that it's like, if you have a message that you've deleted because you've made a typo or something, is someone going to say, well, clearly you were doing something illegal and that's why you deleted it? It's like, this is crazy.
It's scary.
This is crazy.
It's scary. And as someone who's now is still, as Cassie said in the chat, last man standing, still trying to fight Blake and get done with this, it doesn't surprise me that they're still viciously trying to infer that there was shenanigans when there weren't. And so that's what's really scary about all this and just frustrating, of just like, they really are gaslighting the world. No, you did. They literally in my hearing said, no, you communicate with someone in 2024, and held up a piece of paper as if I did, which I didn't. And then literally, because I'm being gaslighted by these people, I'm like, did I? Like, I did. I doubted myself. I had to go. And then I literally went back and watched every video, guys, from that 2024 period. And it's the irony, I was very, very nice to Blake. Incredibly nice to Blake. In the video, I hype up Ryan Reynolds and my love of him and Blake.
I have worked with Ryan Reynolds. I like him. He's a very nice guy. He was I can attest. I'm not going to share details. He's an amazingly hardworking, sweet, nice Canadian guy. And I can only imagine his wife and he are very nice people. So I am not here trying to bash Blake Lively, merely pointing out how the media is portraying it. And I honestly have no horse in this race. I don't know Justin at all, but
I literally call him Justin. What was it? Baldoni or I said his name wrong in all these videos
Baldini.
early on.
You kept calling him Baldini.
Baldini. That's what I keep calling. Now I've learned it because the audience got mad at me. But this idea that I was paid by them to make this content. We made 10 videos and I'm going through them all specifically. And it reiterates our case that we were so fair and impartial. And it's so clear Blake's team hasn't watched any of it. They're just out there to paint a narrative that when they lose, because there's no evidence, Oh, well, they deleted it all. They hid it from us. They didn't want to give it to us. They want to break the Constitution and get their way with everything. And when they don't, which is they're not allowed to do, well, they hid it. They hid it. We were right. They were wrong. But it was impossible to win. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Mark my words. And it's so infuriating. It makes me want to just put the shit out there, Kim, because that's what's so frustrating. And I'm not gonna because for reasons, but that's what's so irritating. They know they're not going to be able to get a lot of this stuff. They're not allowed to legally, everything else, and that there is nothing. And so now their move is to gaslight the world. Oh, they just deleted it all. Anybody use Signal? Well, clearly you're guilty. The president was on Signal doing war chats. I can't even. We are in a crazy place. Now we could use your support now more than ever. There's 2 ways you can do it, just by liking, etc. Go to the Give, Send, Go. It'll be pinned comment down below. You can support. We still need the funding for the documentary, for everything else, the lawyer fees. And you can also get my new shirt, Subpoena This! All funds raised on the store. Go to popcornplanet.com, go to the merch store, go to new items. You'll get my Subpoena This shirt. You can get it in black, navy, or white. I'm proud of this one. You can also sign up here to become a member, watch the replays, and so much more. But those are the best ways to support right now, as well as subscribing to It's Kim and Popcorn Planet. We appreciate you guys. The Toxic Positivity shirt's on there as well. All that goes to help towards these funds. So we're not giving up. The documentary is still happening. Sorry, Blake. Sorry, Ryan. You can annoy me. You're annoying me. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, I think we're all going to prove the truth. And I cannot wait for that day. I just wish we could get there a little faster.